Space Warrior Baldios is a robot anime produced by Ashi Productions and Kokusei Iagasa that was broadcast on Tokyo 12 Channel from June 30, 1980 to January 25, 1981. A total of 31 episodes were broadcast, and a movie version was later released. Commentary: the start of the TV series and the state of the anime industry. This is the first robot anime produced by Kokusei Iagasa, and planning began as Subspace Warrior Big Bang. This is the first time that Ashi Productions has produced a robot anime since Super Combined Magic Robot Jingeizer 3 years ago. After the failure of Jingeizer, they had temporarily stopped producing robot anime and instead went down the fantasy and comedy anime route. Her Majesty's Petit Ange, Josephina the Whale, The Crazy Knight Don de la Mancha, and The Twins Monkichi, which were hardly a great success. The staff was a mix of those who worked on Josephina and Don de la Mancha, and this was the second work to be produced by Studio Z5, a group of former Studio Z members led by Kamegaki Hajime. Studio Z5's first project was Tetsujin 28, The Messenger of the Sun, produced by Tokyo Movie. The screenwriters were also a mix of those who worked on Josephina and Don de la Mancha, with new addition Takeshi Shuto. When this series first began, the boom in anime based on Leiji Matsumoto's works, such as Space Battleship Yamato and Galaxy Express 999, and Lupin III, had died down, and Mobile Suit Gundam's broadcast period was shortened, but after the big movement that occurred towards the end of its broadcast, each company was searching for a post-Yamato or post-Gundam anime work, and this series began broadcasting as an ambitious work incorporating various elements. However, anime magazines still had many articles related to Yamato, Lupin, and Gundam, and Space Runaway Edion, which was seen as the favorite to be the post-Gundam, was still airing, so the number of articles related to this series was small, and it got off to a modest start. According to Kazuyuki Hirokawa in the DVD box commentary, the original source of this work is Planet of the Apes. The mystery of the story is revealed quite early on, and it is also mentioned in the May 1980 issue of Toy Journal before the broadcast started, and in the liner notes of the soundtrack released by King Records immediately after the original broadcast started. Cancellation and post-broadcast reactions. The 39-episode series had a hard storyline that was aimed at a slightly older audience, but it was not able to secure space in anime magazines due to the many inconsistencies in the screenplay. The time slot was also changed frequently. In the end, the series was cancelled just as it was about to reach its climax due to the sponsor's financial difficulties, but thanks to the efforts of the advertising agency, the broadcast period was extended by 1 month from the original schedule. The broadcast order was then adjusted, and the final episode ended with the word final appearing in a scene that suggests the extinction of humanity, as the Earth was submerged due to a misjudgment of the enemy's artificial sun operation, resulting in a shocking final episode that could be interpreted as a total defeat for the Earthlings. This final episode was broadcast in the Tokyo area on January 25, 1981, and Space Runaway Edion was cancelled 5 days later on January 30, 1981. There were 3 episodes of completed, unbroadcast film, and the storyboards were completed up to the final episode. The shocking final episode caused a huge reaction, with inquiries flooding in immediately after it aired, and petitions, fan rallies, and independent screenings were held to demand that the complete version be broadcast. The production company was also keenly aware of this atmosphere, and actively provided unpublished stories and footage to anime magazines. In addition, in April 1981, a collector's edition known as the Luxury Book was published directly by the production company, Ashi Productions. In later years, Laserdiscs, DVDs, and Blu-ray discs containing 34 episodes, 31 were broadcast on television, including some that were never aired, were released. Film adaptation. Meanwhile, in the world of anime movies, Gundam also attracted a larger new fan base through collaboration with anime magazines, and in March 1981, Shogakukan released the first theatrical version of Mobile Suit Gundam, followed by the second film, Mobile Suit Gundam 2, Soldiers of Sorrow, in July of the same year, and in August of the same year, Toei released the final installment of 999, Goodbye Galaxy Express 999. The third film, Mobile Suit Gundam 3, Encounters in Space, which was the final installment of the Gundam series, was scheduled for release in March of the following year, and as there were no blockbuster anime movies at the end of 1981, Toei Central Films decided to suddenly adapt this work into a film, hoping to fill that role. The release date was December 19, 1981, and it was shown at the same time as Dr. Slump, Hello! Mysterious Island, rerun. The film version is mainly focused on the love and hate between Marin and Aphrodite, with the first half being a digest of the TV version with significant retakes, and the second half being a simplified version of the story not shown in the TV version with new scenes, and Baldios makes few appearances. In addition, the promotional strategies were such that Nicole was asked to design the characters' costumes. Messages to be played at the end were publicly solicited in anime magazines, and actor Daijiro Tsutsumi was hired as the voice actor. Thus, in stark contrast to the time of the original broadcast, anime magazines at the end of 1981 all featured the work, and related books, film comics, and novels were released by various companies. Related products and cell drawings were also sold at Toei's anime shops in the same way as anime films produced by Toei Animation. Another related product, Baldios Bubble Gum, was released by Lottie, which included celluloid sheets imitating the film with scenes from the work printed on them and stickers as a bonus. There were 36 types of celluloid sheets, and when arranged in order of their serial numbers, the story of the film version could be almost reproduced. Most of the staff and cast were changed. Toyo Ashita was appointed as the animation director, and Studio Z5, Hajime Kamegaki, Satoshi Hirayama, Osamu Nabeshima, Studio No. 1, Masahito Yamashita, Kazuhiro Oke, Matsumi Inayata, and Tadakazu Iguchi, who had worked on the TV series, participated in the film, and with the introduction of computers, the quality of the animation was improved from the TV series. At the end, a caption was displayed, followed by a poem submitted by the public, A Message of Love, subtitled, written by Tomoyasu Shimada. However, the production period was short, and with the release of a succession of popular films such as Mobile Suit Gundam 3, Encounters in Space and the movie version of Space Runaway Idion, this work was once again overshadowed. Toys, plastic models, stationery. This is the third installment of Nomura Toys' Space Romance series, following Space Battleship Yamato 2 and Space Carrier Blue Noah, and unlike the previous two works, the project was original to the company. The company has already disbanded, and this is the only robot anime program in which the company was the main sponsor. The main product, Space Warrior Baldios Battle Fusion Triple Cross, faithfully reproduces the gimmicks from the main story, but the proportions and other aspects are unnatural. Nomura Toy also released a plastic model during the program's broadcast, but the number of copies in circulation was so small that few people know of its existence. It can transform from Palzavan into a robot upper body, but the legs are just sticks with no movement, and there is no transformation gimmick. A mini model of the Baldi Prize Cataranger was included. For the film adaptation, Bandai released them in two different scales, a movable model, and all three units, including the Pulsar van, came with mini models. The face of the main character Robo Baldios is very similar to that of the Gundam type, but Ashi Productions claims that this similarity in design is not plagiarism. In a talk event held in May 2015, Toshihiko Sato, who was the president of Ashi Productions at the time of the broadcast, and Hajime Sato, the original creator, stated their own opinion that the only part of the face that is said to resemble Gundam's face is the vent around the mouth, and claimed that it was a coincidence. At one time, Sato later wrote on his blog that, due to circumstances on the part of the toy manufacturer, an existing mold was modified and reused, resulting in a similar shape. However, the mold reuse was the part that had long been said to be the mark on the chest. In the aforementioned talk, Sato admitted that this was incorrect, saying, "I may have said that the part in the blog article was similar in terms of the feel, etc." Additionally, a Baldios plastic model appears in the second episode of Plamo Kyo's Hero, a Gundam model-focused plastic model manga serialized in Comic Bonbon. In October 2008, toy manufacturer Yamato released a Baldios action figure under the Gunyuho 2 brand, and in November CM's Corporation released a combinable Baldios alloy toy under the Brave Alloy brand. In March 2021, a plastic kit was released under Good Smile Company's Moderoid brand. The combination of the three robots is recreated with some unique modifications to the transformation mechanism. The stationery was released by Showa Note, just like the other two works in the Space Romance series, Yamato 2 and Blue Noah. Others. When the film was released, promotional posters and covers of related books mainly used character illustrations by Masato Kageyama and Mutsumi Inaida, and the fact that Baldios was the name of the main robot was not emphasized. The aforementioned Space Runaway Idion was also cancelled due to struggles with toys and audience ratings, and the true ending was announced as a theatrical release, but this work was the first to be released in this format due to timing. Director Yoshiyuki Tomino, who was proud of Idion being the first, expressed some regret in a book about this feat. The copyright was held by Kokusei Iigasa and Ashi Productions, but Kokusei Iigasa later waived its rights, and as of 2020, Ashi Productions holds all rights. Story. The story begins on S1, the first planet of a star called Sol. Although it once boasted an advanced civilization, the surface of the planet was contaminated by radiation at some point, and it became a planet where people could only live in underground cities. Furthermore, the radioactive contamination and shortage of supplies became more serious with each passing year, and even the lives of the people in the underground cities were in danger of being lost. There were two opposing opinions among the leaders of S1. One was a group of scientists who prioritized purifying the radiation through scientific power, and the other was a group of military officials who advocated invading habitable planets by military force and migrating to those planets. However, Gatler of the Imperial Guard, who controls the military, assassinates the Emperor, calls himself the supreme authority and president, and travels to the planet he is targeting in the subspace fortress Algol. After his scientist father is killed by the Imperial Guard and falsely accused of killing the Emperor, Marine Reagan challenges Algol in the subspace fighter Palzavin, but is caught up in Algol's entry into subspace. After encountering some trouble when entering subspace, Algol drifted into the solar system in the year 2100 AD. Learning that the third planet in the solar system, Earth, was habitable, Gatler organized the S1 military into the subspace squadron Aldebaran and began an invasion. Meanwhile, Marine was rescued by Baldi Prize of the Earth Defense Organization Blue Fixer. Recognized for her desire for revenge against Gatler, her talent as the only one to pilot the Palzavin, and above all her love for the blue sea and nature, she was tasked with fighting Aldebaran as the pilot of the giant robot Baldios, created by modifying and combining the Palzavin with an Earth mecha. Isolated by her Earthling allies and denounced as a traitor by her fellow S1 aliens, Marin faces her cruel fate all by herself. After many battles, Mercury and Venus are destroyed, and Earth begins to resemble the planet S1 after a fierce battle that completely changes the environment. Marin realizes that humanity is caught in a terrible time paradox. Characters. The voice actors are listed in the order of TV version/movie version. Blue Fixer, Earth. The Earth Defense Force, a member of the World Federation. It is abbreviated as BFS, Blue Fixer Secret. It was established in 2091 AD to investigate and manage the Earth's environment, including radioactive contamination and air pollution, but by the time the story begins in 2100 AD, it had already become a defense organization with its own military forces, developing and possessing the Baldi Prize and Cataranger, and this tendency was further strengthened by the development of Baldios. Although it is a member of the World Federation, it is an independent organization with certain authority, so there was political interference from the World Federation's upper echelons and friction with the regular army. It is also known as the Shadow Army and has been criticized for its secrecy and the expansion of its forces beyond the control of the World Federation. The most elite members of the force who carry out missions on the front lines are called fixers or Baldios teams. Each member of the unit is given a rank, but the organization reflects the personality of Commander Tsukikage, a former civil servant, with greetings generally being met with a handshake rather than a salute, and the unit allowing members to hold parties and concerts in order to foster friendship among them. Marine Ray Gun. Voice, Kane Hitoshiizawa/Takumi Yamazaki, Super Robot Wars Series, S1 Alien. Special member of the Special Combat Squad. 20 years old. Palzavan pilot. He followed his father's murderer, Gatler, to Earth. Due to his background, he is suspected of being a traitor on his home planet and a spy by Earthlings. He is a passionate man who will not tolerate anyone who pollutes the blue sky and sea. On S1 planet, he is a student at a school for pacifists called UF Mausian, and has earned the highest degree, a UF bachelor's degree. After the military took control of the school, he seems to have helped his father with his research. Even after visiting Earth, this scientific knowledge will be a great weapon for him. His appearance is characterized by his slightly long, bluish hair. In the novels, his age is set differently in all three works. In the Cobalt Bunko version, he is 19 years old, in the Pocket Mates version, he is 21 years old, and in the Sonorama version, he is 23 years old. It is said that the name Marine was chosen with the meaning of someone who protects the blue sea. In some sources, it is written as Marine Reagan. After everything is over, he does not accompany the Earthlings who are retreating to the underground city, nor the S1 aliens who are heading for new frontiers, but remains alone on the surface, reminiscing, and the movie ends with him. Jamie Hoshino. Voice, Keiko Yakuzawa, now Keiko Yakuzawa/Keiko Han. A member of the Applied Physics Research Lab at the Science Development Bureau. Although not a Special Combat Unit member, she is equally trained and assists Baldi Prize in piloting depending on the operation. 18 years old. Born as an illegitimate child. After her mother's death, she was raised by a Greek-Japanese family for a time, but was placed in an institution after her guardian died. She volunteered for the BFS at the age of 15. In episode 9, it was revealed that her father was King Bird. He was the catalyst for Marin's lonely heart to open up. She gradually began to have feelings for Marin. As if to symbolize this, the opening scene of the TV version shows the two of them running through a field, holding Marin's hand. However, Marin never seemed to have any feelings for Jamie beyond that of a sister or comrade, and she becomes close to Oliver at the end of the series. In the BFS, she is in a position similar to that of Quinstein's assistant. He is the youngest of the main characters, and sometimes his behavior shows a glimpse of immaturity, but he also performs the duties of a fixer, such as piloting the Baldi Prize in Episode 6 and the Palzavan, albeit co-piloting with Marin, in Episode 28, and even combining them. In particular, he is the only Earthling to successfully charge up in Episode 28. Jack Oliver. Voice, Suzuki Kiyonobu/Tanaka Hideyuki. A corporal in the Special Combat Squad. 22 years old. A pilot for Baldi Prize. He is a Christian, a pretentious sarcastic man with an afro-blonde haircut from a lower-class American background. He was separated from his parents at a young age and spent a harsh childhood in the slums with his sister Emily, so he is very concerned about Jamie, who is close in age to his sister. At first, he was suspicious of Marin, but he eventually came to trust her as they survived life-threatening situations together. Raita Hokuto. Voice, Tess Hojanda. Special Combat Sergeant. Cataranger pilot. Born in the abandoned lunar colony city of Little Japan. He distrusts Marin more than Oliver and suspects him of being a spy, but as they are both orphans who have lost their families, he begins to trust her during the fight. He is a master of martial arts, a carefree, simple and strong character, but sometimes shows a comedic relief side. Although it is not directly depicted, he is also said to be an honest person, such as teaching at a military academy after his regular shift. In the TV version, in episode 38, unproduced, he goes out to dispose of the nuclear warhead of a nuclear missile base that has fallen into the hands of Aldebaran, but is killed in a concentrated attack by Spirit Gatler II. However, in the movie version, the episode itself was cut, so he survives until the end. Some of the cut scenes are included in the LP's famous scene still selection. Ella Quinstein. Voice, Miki Kagawa, currently Yoshino Odori, / Iko Kono's Hima. Chief of the Science Development Bureau. 32 years old. Originally from Germany, he is mainly referred to as Doctor during his missions and refers to himself as I. Contrary to his quiet demeanor and refined way of speaking, he is a calm and collected person who prioritizes logic over emotion. He is the brains of BFS and assists Tsukikage as the number 2, and takes over command of BFS when Tsukikage is absent. He notices Marin's abilities and recruits her into the team, but at the root of it all is his thoroughly realistic view of humanity, which holds that hatred is stronger than love. He is particularly skilled among Earthlings in robotics and subspace mechanics, and developed Baldios by analyzing, modifying, and strengthening the PAL Savant and giving it a combination function. In episode 36, unproduced, he violently interrogates Aphrodite, who escaped and was hidden in the BFS base, and in the novel version, he condones the assault on Aphrodite by the BFS members who lost their families, showing his ruthless side. In the movie version of Battle on Saturn, she piloted Baldios with Jamie and participated in the attack on the fortress's central reactor, escaping the collapse of the BFS base. Her set height is 183 centimeters, making her taller than Marin and Rita. Her trademarks are a pure white shawl and long gloves that reach down to her elbows. It is unclear when, but she was once a teacher, and David was one of her former students. Although she is a person who seems to value rationality, she also displays feminine maternal kindness and provides emotional support to the BFS members, especially Marin, when they are mentally cornered. Tsukikage Takeshi. Voice, Tatsuyuki Ishimori / Katsuyuki Hori. Commander-in-Chief. 40 years old. A calm and collected commander. Born in Japan, he is portrayed as an idealistic person who does not think like a military man, but is sometimes criticized by his aides and superiors for being soft. At first, he was very strict with Marin, an alien, but this was only out of a desire to protect the Earth, and he later gained Marin's trust, to the point that he was called our father. In episode 32, episode 31 of the TV version, he was too cautious in his response to the artificial sun, but in episode 34, he used Mini Pulsar Van to attack Spirit Gatler with the nuclear material that caused the China Syndrome in Aldebaran's attack, and in the movie version of Saturn Decisive Battle, he met a heroic end with the BFS base. He left his wife and children behind in Japan and worked alone, and although Quinstein was a good partner to him, he never crossed the line in terms of work, and Quinstein's evaluation of him was simply, he's a fine person. His physical features include white silver hair and a mustache, which is unusual for someone his age. Although he is not depicted as a particularly large character, he is actually quite tall for a Japanese person, standing 185 centimeters tall. The voice actors, Ishimori and Hori, also serve as narrators. David Wayne. Voiced by Kazuhiko Inu. Appears in episode 29 of the TV series and the movie. A reserve pilot candidate for Parzavan, he is a genius with piloting techniques on PAR with Marines. He has a cocky personality, and at first looks down on Marin, an alien, and boasts that he will one day become a regular pilot, not just a reserve, but even Marin praises his skills. He is a student of Dr. Quinstein, and has secretly had feelings for her since childhood. During Aldebaran's Earth Ice Age operation, he makes a suicide mission to Ghanemd in the Fixer 1, not for Earth, but for Quinstein. The Doctor left the door unlocked on the night before the operation for David, but he took off as soon as he saw the Doctor. In the movie version, he is set to be a classmate of Oliver and Rita at the military academy. While Marin was infiltrating the Aldebaran base, he sorted as the pilot of the Palsavern, but failed to charge up, so he declined the Palsavern pilot position and left the BFS. He rushed to the Saturn battle in Fixer 1, and never gave up on his feelings for Quinstein until the end of his life. Other Earthlings. Morgan. Voice, Minoru Inaba/Tajiamiya. Representative of the World Federation. A realist who believes that a small number of sacrifices are unavoidable for the survival of Earthlings, he often clashes with Tsukikage over war policy. As the World Federation also has its own military, he has tried to abandon Marine and the BFS on many occasions, but in episode 33 in the movie, he does not evacuate from the World Federation headquarters even when a huge tsunami is approaching, and instead shares the fate of the headquarters, proving that he is actually a person with a strong sense of responsibility. Sue Herman. Voiced by Katsuyuki Hori. He appeared in episodes 12 and 30 of the TV series. He was an elite officer of the World Federation, and was given the secret mission of inspecting Tsukikage's suitability as the chief from a military point of view. He seemed strict about discipline, like a true soldier, but in fact he calmly observed the human relationships and internal affairs of the Blue Fixer side. He eventually became a good supporter of Chief Tsukikage and Marine. He is a character with distinctive sideburns and sunglasses. After Morgan's death, he waged a guerrilla war with his own combat unit, and even in an unaired episode, he appeared frequently as the Supreme Commander of the World Federation military, uniting the remaining forces, and led a submarine fleet on the submerged Earth. In the Battle of Saturn, he took command of the BFS base after Tsukikage's death, and was eventually killed in a one-on-one battle with Gagli, who was commanded by Negroes. He was initially considered for an active role in the movie version, but he did not appear in the movie version due to the need to balance it with the decision to feature David. Amy Ladin. Voiced by Eiko Masuyama, Episode 15, Mami Koyama, Episode 33, a female journalist nicknamed Rattlesnake. She is a popular reporter for the World Broadcasting Television Station, where even the World Federation cannot intervene in politics, and has a great influence in shaping public opinion. In episode 15, she promotes the idea that the existence of BFS and Baldios is an obstacle to peaceful coexistence with the S1 aliens, but instead, they are used by Aldebaran and cause great sacrifices. She almost commits suicide because of this, but is saved by Marine and sets out again to fulfill her mission. She reappears in episode 33, and her bravery in continuing to broadcast the final scenes of the sinking Earth impressed even Rita. She conveys her feelings that Blue Fixer will surely save the Earth from its current hopeless state, and while expressing her gratitude to her colleagues, she sinks into the sea along with her helicopter, which has run out of fuel, and is scattered. She is portrayed as a career woman who is both capable and beautiful. Her favorite perfume is L'air du Temps by Nina Ricci. Alan. Voiced by Toshio Furukawa. An engineer seconded from the World Federation to the BFS. In episode 5, he attacks without permission using the Catarangers. He is sentenced to prison as a warning to others, but it is a false sentence, and thanks to Quinstein's decision, he is spared the death penalty and is only frozen in time, as a prayer for the day when peace will come to Earth. In episode 36, unproduced, he is scheduled to make a surprising reappearance. Emily. Voice, Saiko Shimizu/Tomiko Suzuki. Oliver's younger sister. She spent a harsh childhood in the slums with her brother, and became a nurse at the World Federation headquarters. In episode 33, unaired episode, and the movie version, Oliver is informed that she has had a child with her fiancé Roy, but by that time the world has already been submerged. Roy. Voiced by Yuji Mitsuya. Emily's fiancé. He wanted to be a pilot but was rejected for not being suitable, so he is more ambitious than most. As a World Federation soldier, he was injured in an attack by Aldebaran during a weapons delivery mission on Mars, and was taken prisoner while wandering the universe. He is ordered by Aphrodite to obtain classified documents, but tries to capture them by pretending to take a photograph, but fails and leaves somewhere with Emily. Nerd. Voiced by Tatsuo Suihan. Appears in Episode 7. A scientist and Quinstein's ex-girlfriend. She disappeared after the World Federation forced her to stop researching the vacuum bomb that she was working on with her mentor, Dr. Lambert, and Quinstein. She spent her days drinking heavily, but with the help of Aldebaran, she developed the Lost Space Bomb, an improved version of the vacuum bomb, at the Silveria base, which put Baldios in a difficult position. King Bird. Voice, Tamio Oki, Episode 9, Takashi Tanaka, currently Jinga Banjo / episodes 27 and 33, / Tamio Oki. Appears in episodes 9, 27, and 33 of the TV series and in the movie version. He is the king of the North African country of Rainia and Jamie's biological father. He is reunited with Jamie when the mineral resource of Rainia, Galler-X, is targeted by Aldebaran. The scene in episode 33 where he calls out to Jamie via radio during a huge tsunami remains in the movie version. Subspace Squadron Aldebaran, S1 star. The military of Planet S1 led by Gatteler is collectively called the Subspace Squadron Aldebaran. Aldebaran literally uses subspace navigation and has an overwhelming advantage over Earth in terms of scientific power, but is inferior in terms of quantity, especially resources, and production, so it prioritizes operations aimed at securing resources and occupying or destroying industrial areas. Aldebaran does not mean all S1 people, but adopts a political system in which Gatteler controls both the administrative organization, which includes administrators and counselors such as the Unified Council and the Committee of Seven, and the military. In the play, it is said that the immigrant group that escaped from Planet S1 numbered about 100 million people. Their original goal was to take Earth, a beautiful planet uncontaminated by radiation, unscathed, but in the fierce battle, they used all of their ABC weapons, and ended up polluting the Earth in an ugly way. Zoe Gutler. Voice, Takeshi Aono / Hidekatsu Shibata. He is the former head of the S1 Emperor's Guard and the current president of Aldebaran. He is 38 years old. He has begun an invasion of Earth to allow the S1 people to immigrate. He is a so-called dictator type of person who believes that power is everything, but he also actively promotes people he recognizes as competent. He also believes that he is leading a battle that is not for his own selfish gain, but for the fate of all the people of S1. He also shows a sensitive side, such as when he has to make important decisions, he cuts off contact with the outside world in a sync room and meditates. In the TV version, he accidentally presses the launch button for a nuclear missile while escaping from Spirit Gatteler 2, and the Earth becomes contaminated with radiation. After that event, he learns that he himself destroyed the Earth and turned it into the S1 planet. After his duel with Marine, he leads the surviving people of Planet S1 on a journey to a new world. In the movie, he is left seriously injured, and the only scene we see is him warping away from the frozen area, so it's unclear whether he's dead or alive. He is depicted as a tall, broad-chested man with white hair. The staff he always carries in his hand is also a self-defense weapon that emits a beam of light, and he shocked Negroes to death in the TV version and Garo to death in the movie version. Rosa Aphrodite. Voice, Naomi Jinbo / Keiko Toda / Ryoko Nagata, Super Robot Wars series, Supreme Commander of Aldebaran. 25 years old, 23 in the Sonorama version of the novel. Gutler's confidant. She has a strong hatred for Marin because her younger brother Milan was killed by him. After their father, a soldier, died in an accident, Aphrodite and Milan grew up under Gatteler, who was his subordinate, and their gratitude and loyalty to him are unmatched. People around her believe that she was given high positions because she is a woman, and she is plagued by the jealousy and prejudice of the other Aldebaran executives until the end. Favor it very much. As sworn enemies, he and Marin clash on many occasions, but as they unexpectedly join forces and interact in battle, his feelings towards Marin begin to change, and he even begins to show signs of trusting Marin more than anyone else, despite her being his enemy. In the TV version, after being dismissed from his position as commander, he falls into a trap set by Negroes and is pursued as a deserter from Aldebaran, where he is attacked and killed. In the movie version, he goes missing after escaping, but appears at the scene of the final showdown between Gadalar and Marin, where he protects Marin from Gadalar's attack and fatally wounds him, but is driven to the point of guilt by the kindness he once owed to Gadalar, and shoots himself with his own gun. He is then nursed back to Earth by Marin. As his consciousness fades, he dies, crying, and regretting his meeting and the battle with Marin. The original name was Belbaran. In the story, she is said to be in a romantic relationship with Gadalar, and there is a scene in the story where Gadalar scatters roses on her. In addition, her father's accidental death was actually an assassination by Gadalar against the backdrop of a power struggle within the military, and this is more clearly stated in the Sonorama version of the novel. She usually wears a purple-red military uniform, yellow sunglasses, and a military cap with her green hair tied up, but in the ending credits she takes off her sunglasses, wears her long hair down, and wears a yellow mini-skirt. There is also a scene where she holds hands with Marine Negroes. Voice, Shozo Izuka. He is an ambitious man who, upon learning that the future of Earth is Planet S1, threatens Gadalar, ousts Aphrodite, and becomes Supreme Commander. Before he became Commander-in-Chief, he was obsessed with winning, even suggesting a nuclear attack in a strategy meeting, but in the movie, he becomes enraged by Baldios' fierce attack and presses the button to launch the nuclear missiles. He is the one who led Earth, Planet S1, to radioactive contamination. Garo. Voice, Masayuki Abu, currently Masato Abu, / Shojiro Kiera. Appears in Episode 7 and the movie. Negro's twin brother. In the TV version, he was just one of the executives, but in the movie, he was executed as an example of the iron discipline created by Aphrodite, which fueled Negro's hatred. Milan. Voice, Kazuhiko Inu / Shigeru Chiba. A member of the Imperial Guard. Aphrodite's younger brother. He has a very twisted personality, influenced by Gadalar's idea of solving things by force, and even aside from the fact that it was scientists who contaminated Planet S1, he has a disdainful personality. He shot and killed Dr. Ray Gun, but when Marin showed up at the lab, a metal shard he threw in desperation pierced his throat, killing him. As a result of this incident, Marin and Aphrodite became enemies. However, while Aphrodite only holds a grudge against Marin personally, Marin's hatred is directed more at the military, Aldebaran, and Gadalar. In the movie version, it is revealed that he holds the rank of second lieutenant. Latopi. Voiced by Toshio Furukawa. Appears in episode 22 of the TV series. He is the captain of the guard, wearing the same purple military uniform as Milan. In Aldebaran, both Gadalar and Aphrodite have served as captains of the guard, and this is the highest level of the elite course. In exchange for sparing his lover Lyle's life, he challenges Baldios in the Brililler, a suicide mecha loaded with anti-light wave bombs, but fails. He is thrown out of the machine and miraculously survives, and together with Blue Fixer, he heads to intercept the approaching Brililler number 2, but it is Lyle who is inside. When they try to rescue her, they realize it is impossible, so the two of them leave alone and commit suicide. In the Pocket Mates novel, he takes on the role of the Kaiser in the TV series. Lyle. Voiced by Kumiko Takaizawa. Appeared in episode 22 of the TV series. She is not a military officer, but serves Aphrodite both publicly and privately as her attendant. She secretly developed a love affair with the guard captain, Latopi. However, when Latopi learns that she will be put into a cryogenic sleep that is reserved for civilians and will not wake up for 100 years, he plots a rebellion, but fails. Her distinctive appearance is her ponytail hairstyle. Laska. Voice, Daijiro Tsutsumi. A low-ranking soldier who appeared in the movie version. He fought against the S1 aliens, believing that if they took the Earth, they could live there in peace with Liren, but he was killed in battle during the Battle of Saturn. In the Sonorama novel, he was a member of Aphrodite's guards, and pursued the Afro car without knowing that she was driving it, and was defeated by Marine Karen Flick. Voiced by Hirotaka Suzuoki/Keiji Fujiwara, Super Robot Wars series, the main guest of episode 10. An old friend of Marin's, he calls her the best friend ever. Like Marin, he was a student at UF Mausian and a good rival, but due to certain circumstances, he joined the military. After joining the military, he becomes the pilot of the interceptor Mecha Silver Shark and calls for him to betray Aldebaran and defect to Earth. Romance. Voiced by Akira Murayama. Appears in episode 27. Captain of the Aldebaran tank unit. He saves the life of the captured Jamie, betrays Aldebaran, and escapes with him, but is shot dead by Marin, who immediately sees through his intentions. Degrasse. Voice, Akira Kamiya/Makoto Terada, now Mujito, the main character in episodes 17 and 18, he is a senior member of the Aldebaran military. In order to overthrow Aphrodite, he schemes to lure Marin to Aldebaran. He also appears in the movie as an aide to Negros, but is held responsible for the failure of the operation and purged by Gatteler. His distinctive appearance is the rose flower on his chest. The Law of Aldebaran, Iron Law. 1. First, selfish actions are punishable by death. 2. Second, anyone who turns their back on the enemy is punished by death. 3. Third, those who show sympathy to the enemy and those who are shown sympathy to the enemy will be executed. 4. Fourth, anyone who disrupts the squadron will be sentenced to death. Other S1 aliens. Dr. Reagan. Voice, Kohemayashi/Masato Yamauchi. A scientist from planet S1. Marin's father. He is the leader of the S1 Planet Purification faction, mainly a group of scientists, based in UF Mausian, and has been researching a radiation filtration device, but just after a successful experiment, he is shot by the Royal Guard. As mentioned above, the assailant is different in the main story and the movie version, and the radiation filtration device that he poured his heart and soul into completing, as well as his research records, are destroyed. He also designed and built the Palsavant. Summoning his last strength, he lets Marin escape, and dies. Trinomius 3. Voice, Masanobu Okubo/Takemi Nakamura. Emperor of the radioactively contaminated planet S1. At a High Council meeting, he decided to launch a military invasion of other habitable planets if the scientist team did not complete a radiation filtration device within 5 days. He was assassinated by Aphrodite, who received orders from Gatteler. Rerun. Voiced by Yuko Oki. Appears in the movie version. Laska's lover, modeled after Lyle from the TV version. She goes into cryo-sleep before the final battle to reduce non-combatants. Her voice actor was chosen from the general public to create buzz. Kaiser. Voiced by Kazuyuki Sogabe. Appears in episode 25 of the TV series. A master marksman and a member of the anti-establishment group on planet S1. He attempted to assassinate Gatteler, who was giving a morale-boosting speech at a ceremony. He was an excellent officer cadet who competed with Aphrodite for the top spot at the military academy, but his current status is unknown. When he was frightened by Gatteler's spirit, he was shot to death by Job, an Aldebaran executive who was trying to use him from behind the scenes, to silence him. Both were executed by Aphrodite shortly after. Commissioner of Immigration. Voiced by Eiji Kani. He mainly oversees the daily life of the S1 aliens within the subspace fortress. Although he is an administrative officer and not a military officer, he is under the command of the leader, Gatteler. Refrigeration Director. Voice, Koji Toya. He is primarily responsible for managing the people of S1 who are in cryosleep within the subspace fortress and for maintaining the equipment. Appearing Mecha. Blue Fixer Side. Baldios. A giant robot born from the combination of three machines, New Palzavan, a modified Palzavan, Baldi Prize, and Cataranger. The combination code is, Baldios, charge up, and the separation code is charge off. Dr. Quinstein modified the Palzavan, the subspace voyage Marin rode on from the planet S1, to be able to combine with the Earth-made Baldi Prize and Cataranger. At the beginning of the story, it is the only mecha on Earth that can enter and return to subspace. Palzavan makes up the torso, head, and arms, Baldi Prize makes up the right leg, and Cataranger makes up the left leg. Its power was overwhelming, as it was able to destroy transparent discs just by passing them by or simply punching them, and destroy giant mechas in just a little over a minute after encountering them, or even with just one blow. It can stay in subspace for 5 minutes. Furthermore, it is impossible for headquarters to grasp the location coordinates while in subspace, meaning that the return to normal space is a hit or miss affair with no idea where one will end up, and because of this, when returning after the initial entry, they appear 500 meters in front of the BFS base, destroying the large main display at headquarters, which is located just before it. After the combination, Marine was the main pilot, with Oliver and Rita assisting. Marine's piloting is particularly essential for the combination and subspace entry, which are the machine's greatest features. After powering up, it is said to be powered by Marine's psychic energy, and in the battle immediately after powering up, weapons were unleashed without using the joystick, tracing Marine's movements, but in subsequent episodes the joystick was used in most cases. On TV, he first appeared in episode 4. In episode 38, unproduced, the Catarangers were destroyed, and his role as Baldios came to an end, so he does not appear in episode 39. In episode 18, it is revealed that the new Valda Prize and new Cataranger were being developed at the second Blue Fixer base, but the second base was attacked and destroyed, and their performance remained unknown. It mainly moves by flying in the air, but when it was destroyed in a battle at the beginning of episode 24, it walked on land to get to the base. It also seems to be relatively good at underwater combat, and its first battle, which was supposed to be risky, was against Big Octo underwater. The following scenes are included in the movie version that are not in the TV series. 1. The scene where Dr. Quinstein names Baldios 2. Failure of merging due to David's pulsar burn. 3. The main cockpit appears during the final battle with Aldebaran, and is piloted by 5 people, including Jamie and Dr. Quinstein. 4. After the separation of Palzavan due to the forced charge-off, an intermediate form appears in which only Valda Prize and Cataranger combine. In the initial design, in addition to the 3 machines below, there was a system in which parts from the base could be combined. The initial tentative name was Gun Bandar, and at that time, the bedrock-like parts from the base were planned to be assembled into the whole body. Main weapon. In addition to the weapons listed below, unnamed weapons also appear on the screen, such as the missiles that destroyed Game of Arius. Pulsar. Baldios' main weapon is taken out from under the chest emblem. The Tsuba, guard, part can move to the tip, allowing it to transform into 3 different forms: sword, lance, and javelin. However, it has no name in the setting, nor is it referred to in the show. In particular, the javelin mode, in which the blade extends in 2 stages, is only used once. It has also been thrown as is, episodes 19 and 25, and used like a boomerang, episode 15. It is also used in the climax of the movie. At the time of broadcast, a separate toy was released. In Brave Alloy, the unique sliding action of the sword Tsuba was not incorporated, and the intermediate form before the sword extension was ignored, so the lance mode was not reproduced. Subspace Beam, BAL Beam, a beam weapon that uses subspace energy emitted from the crystal on its forehead. It is powerful but consumes a lot of energy. In episode 27, it fires a ring-shaped beam. Thunder Flash. A plasma weapon that is fired with the chest emblem emitting a white light. Its power is stronger than a subspace beam, but it consumes more energy. Both the subspace beam and the thunder flash are produced by exposing subspace pulsar energy to hydrogen atoms and other substances, turning them into plasma and then firing them. However, there is a huge difference in output. Shoulder cannon. The shutters on both shoulders open to reveal cannons. They fire rockets or energy. Because they are mounted on the shoulders, they are less stable, and are used to attack or harass fighter planes. Baldi missile. Missiles fired from the sides of both shins. Baldi cluster. A throwing weapon consisting of a diamond-shaped weight with an internal spike attached to a chain, usually stored in a box on the left hip. Baldi cutter. A cutter knife-like blade attached to the front of both shins. When fired, it spins and flies towards the enemy. It has the power to cut through 10 meters of steel. Thunder flash full power. A simultaneous attack using subspace beams, Baldi missiles, shoulder cannons, pulse sabers, and thunder flashes. It is risky because it uses all of the energy. It was used as a suicidal move in episode 24, but it destroyed Baldios. Best Ringer. An attack that generates energy in the surrounding area and scatters enemy mechas. Appears after powering up. 3D Baldi, a clone attack. Appears after powering up. Pulsar drinking. He connects two pulsars and spins them, or slashes with them. Appears after powering up. Subspace shower. A type of tractor beam that is non-destructive and allows the transport of matter to and from subspace. It is also equipped on the mini pulsar van. The space cyclone of the Gemi Mecha is also depicted as being almost the same. The following weapons and equipment did not appear in the TV broadcast. Baldioizer. This is a suicidal final move in which Baldios releases energy from its entire body, literally turning the unit into a fireball and then kamikazes. In the second stage, it charges off from inside the enemy, then leaves the enemy and tears them to shreds. This move was sealed away because it uses all of its energy and cannot be used frequently, and there is a high possibility that the unit will be destroyed, just like the Thunder Flash full power move mentioned above. It was planned to be used on Spirit Gatler 2 in episode 38 of the TV series, unproduced, but was never produced, so it is essentially a phantom technique that only appeared in the novel version of Sonorama Bunko. It first appeared in a film in the game, Super Robot Wars Z, which was released 27 years after the publication of the novel. Burst Saucer. A large ray cannon that is fired from the base, developed for times of energy shortage. Baldios holds it using its wings as handles. There are design drawings and it appears in the lyrics of the insert song Stand Up. Baldios, but it does not appear in the main story. Cross Saucer. A disc-shaped cutter fired from the burst saucer. Only concept art. Laser crossbow. The red diamond on the right arm has been transformed into a slingshot-type crossbow. There are design drawings, but it has not appeared in the main story. A three-dimensional model is included with the plastic model and brave alloy. Baldigard. A large shield that is a change of the red diamond part on the left arm. Although there are design drawings, it has not appeared in the main story. In the novel version, only the name appears in the Cobalt Bunko version. A three-dimensional figure is included with the old toys, standard and triple cross, plastic models, and brave alloy. Boomerang. He removes the emblem from his chest and throws it at enemies as a boomerang. Although there are design drawings, he has not appeared in the main story. Hand cutter. A laser sword that emerges from the mark on both arms. Although there are design drawings, it has not appeared in the main story. Tonfa. He removes the boxes on both his hips and uses the laser blades as weapons. Although there are design drawings, he has not appeared in the main story. Balstranger. It is a laser whip made by removing the handle from a tonfa, and although there are design drawings of it, it has not appeared in the main story. Nunchucks. This weapon is used by removing the mark on the foot, and although there are design drawings, it has not appeared in the main story. In Triple Cross, Only one side is rendered in 3 dimensions. One in the Battle Fusion Triple Cross, he is seen possessing a 6-blade shuriken and a one-handed axe, but neither is used in the main story. Parsa appears throughout almost the entire story. A space fighter capable of navigating subspace, developed by Dr. Ray-Gun, it represents the pinnacle of scientific power on the planet S1. It is powered by a pulsar beam. It is basically a one-seater, but there is a lot of room in the cockpit, and rescued personnel and prisoners can sometimes be carried in the extra space. In Episode 4, it is modified by Dr. Quinstein to become the new Parzavan, and at the same time is given the ability to combine with Baldios, forming Baldios from the waist up. Even after the modification, it is conveniently called Parzavan. As mentioned above, Marin's piloting or presence is essential for subspace navigation and merging. As proof of this, David, who piloted the machine as Marin's spare in the movie, failed to charge up. Dr. Quinstein's analysis of this machine dramatically improved the scientific level of Earth's mecha. Baldy Prize, commonly known as the nuclear aircraft carrier. The first combat mecha developed by the BFS, it was designed to perform best at sea, but can also fight in space and the air. It has a spacious 2-seater cockpit and serves as a headquarters for operations on the front lines. Early in the story, it discovers Marine and Parzavan on the moon and transports them to Earth. In Episode 4, it is modified along with the Catarangers, allowing it to combine into Baldios. It is piloted by Jack Oliver. After combining, it becomes the right leg of Baldios. The initial tentative name was Mid-Prize. Cat Ranger. A BFS ground combat mecha shaped like a tank. It uses a preset system that registers control information, making it the easiest of the 3 main mechas to control. It is piloted by Hokuto Raita. It is equipped with endless tracks, crawlers. It can fight in the air, in outer space, and even underwater. After combining, it becomes the left leg of Baldios. In the TV version, in Episode 38, unproduced, it is destroyed by a concentrated attack from Spirit Gatler 2, and burns up in the atmosphere along with Raita, who fought for his life. This is the only unit that does not have any variation in its setting name, etc. Blue Fixer Base. A huge base located somewhere in South America. It has no proper name, and is simply called the base. Except for the Amazon second base, whose construction was later ordered to be halted midway, no other branches of the BFS have appeared. Therefore, this structure can be said to be the organization BFS itself. Its form resembles an aircraft carrier, and in an emergency it can move freely on land, sea, and air, and can also leave the atmosphere on its own. This fact was kept top secret even by the members of the team. It is the mothership of the 3 major mechas, and the main members are given individual rooms, so it is also the place where the BFS members live. In the movie version, many weapons appeared, and a fierce battle unfolded with the subspace fortress. The main fighting forces are Baldios and the 3 major mechas, and other mechas for reconnaissance and special missions such as the Valcopter, the Jamie Mecha, the Mini Pulsavern, and the Fixer 1 also appear. These can be broadly divided into those that are either slightly modified or adopted as is from the World Federation's machines, and those that BFS developed independently based on Pulsavern technology. Military regulations seem to be relatively lax, and drinking alcohol is permitted on base during off time. Due to its nature, the base is located in an area with poor transportation access, and small helicopters and air vehicles are used for transportation to and from the outside world. In the movie version, he made a suicide attack on the subspace fortress, creating an opportunity for Baldios to enter the fortress. In the initial design, some parts were planned to form combined parts of Baldios. Seat 9. It appeared in Episode 8 of the TV series. It is an attaché case-type secret weapon developed by Ella Quinstein. The handle is the key. It has a built-in jet propulsion function and periscope, and inside it is equipped with a code breaker, grenades, small missiles, a small gas burner, a communication device, a radar panel, and other equipment. It was used by Marine to rescue a girl abducted by Aldebaran and to destroy the transforming fortress. It was originally introduced at the request of Nomura Toy, who was also a sponsor of the series. It also appeared in commercials during the original broadcast. Fixer 1 appears in episode 29 of the TV series and in the movie version. It is piloted by David Wayne. In the TV series, it is a suicide weapon designed specifically to destroy the satellite Gundam. It is equipped with a large booster at the rear, making it a destructive rocket for subspace flight that can accelerate to the speed of light in one go. To pilot it requires the same level of advanced technique as piloting Parzavan, and David uses his piloting skills to make a suicide attack on Gundam. In the movie version, it appears as a high-performance space fighter and is the only reinforcement for the BFS in the Battle of Saturn. It is moderately damaged by a concentrated attack of small fighter planes ramming it, but David uses the momentum to self-destruct, taking the enemy ship with him. Mini Pulsaburn, Mini Barn, appears in the TV series. A small machine developed and manufactured based on technology gained from analyzing the Palzavant. It is the only Earthside mecha other than Baldios that can enter and return to subspace. Originally developed as a reconnaissance aircraft, it has no special armaments other than a subspace shower, but by combining with the back of Baldios, it becomes possible to pilot Baldios from a different system. It is piloted by director Tsukikage. Valcopter, a small aircraft used mainly for liaison and reconnaissance. It has no special armaments, but appears throughout the game. Jamie Mecha. It appeared in episode 31 of the TV series. It is large in size and shaped like a swan, and can easily transform by charging up. It has almost no fighting power, but is equipped with a tractor beam called the Space Cyclone. It is piloted by Jamie Hoshino. In Kibuncha's Space Warrior Baldios Encyclopedia, it was named Space Swanee. In the novel, the Pocket Mates version, it is shaped like a crab, and was named Space Windmill Jamie. Gumjard appears in episodes 17 and 18 of the TV series. A combat robot created by the World Federation based on the performance of Baldios. Its weapons are a sword, 2 light cannons on its waist, and a beam cannon on the bottom of its feet. Its high performance, even acknowledged by Tsukikage, initially boasted a series of unstoppable victories, and public opinion even suggested that Baldios equals Marine was unnecessary, but these were all part of Aldebaran's strategy to lure Marine, who was deemed useless by Earth, and it was used and quickly destroyed by a ramming of an aircraft carrier commanded by Digris. The name comes from Space Warrior Gumjad, one of the titles for the show when it was planned. It appears in all 3 novels. In the Pocket Mates version, it is stated that it can enter subspace. In the Sonorama Bunko version, it is twice the size of Baldios, has 20 types of weapons, and is capable of warp and subspace navigation. Aldebaran side. Combat mechas sent by Aldebaran. Some were originally deployed to Aldebaran, while others were newly constructed for attacks on Earth. There is no general term for them, and they are simply called mecha or giant mecha. Not all of them directly fight Baldios, and there have been cases where artificial suns and natural satellites are used as weapons. In the movie version, the design of the Africar has been completely redesigned, and new space carriers and space fighters have been introduced. Ships and aircraft. Algol, Subspace Fortress, Aldebaran's headquarters in subspace. It is both Aldebaran's headquarters and the residence of the S1 Star immigrant group, and many civilians live there, including those in cryosleep. Suffering from a shortage of troops and food, Aldebaran gradually reduces its civilian population by putting them into cryosleep and awakening reserve soldiers to replenish its forces. In the TV version, this fortress is called Algol. It consumes a huge amount of energy to constantly maintain its existence in subspace, beyond the reach of Earth's military interference, and securing this energy is the Aldebaran military's top priority. At the end of the story, that energy finally runs out, and it appears in normal space near Saturn. Aircraft carrier, Argol, a red space carrier on which Aphrodite and other commanders board. Aphrodite is the main aboard and serves as the command center on the front lines. In the movie version, this is named Algol. It can carry 117 transparent flying aircraft. Transparent disc. Length, 15 m. A translucent attack aircraft that appears throughout most of the series, with an appearance similar to the planarian microorganism. It attacks both in the air and on the ground with its ray gun, and is capable of penetrating subspace, overwhelming the World Federation Air Force. On the Aldebaran side, it is mainly called a combat boat. In Episode 19, it combines with the other two to become a transparent ray. In addition, according to the setting, there are several legs on the bottom of the aircraft, which attach to targets like a remora and dissolve and destroy them with strong acid. Africar. A small machine exclusively for Aphrodite. Although it is an air car in the setting, it also has extremely high combat power and is a space fighter capable of fighting on equal terms with Parzavan. Spirit Guttler. A gigantic space battleship that is said to be the symbol of Gatler, and the flagship of Aldebaran. In footage not shown on television, it is sunk by a suicide attack involving Tsukikij's nuclear material transfer. It appears in all three novels. In the Cobalt Bunko version, it was called Spirit Gatler I. One unaired/unproduced episodes available. Spirit Guttler 2. The subspace fortress's control tower block. Its shape is significantly different from the original. It succeeded in destroying the Catarangers, but was sunk by the Baldioizer. It only appears in the Sonorama version of the novel. In the Cobalt Bunko version, only the name appears. Combat Mech. Big Octo, Episode 4, movie version, Aldebaran's first giant mecha, designed and constructed by Aphrodite to lure the Baldi prize Cataranger into the deep sea and defeat it. Aphrodite himself piloted it and commanded it. It transforms into a jellyfish-like form with numerous tentacles. Unit 1 is overwhelmed by Baldios, who successfully combines with it, and is destroyed by a single blow from its pulsar in subspace. In the unaired episodes and the movie version, Unit 2, Dorka, is later constructed, and turns into a black hole bomb that engulfs Mercury and Venus. In the novel, it appears in the Cobalt Bunko and Pocket Mates versions. Megadozer, Episode 5, a gigantic mecha with caterpillar tracks for destroying cities. It is nearly twice as big as Baldios, with a total length of 100 m, and literally crushed the city. It was pierced and destroyed by a charge with a pulsar. In the Pocket Mates novel, it appears under the name, Heavy Tank Megadozer. In the Cobalt Bunko version, only the name appears. Mogasaw, Episode 6, a geothermal conversion mecha built for underground use to stimulate volcanic zones. It was piloted by a unit led by Captain Dursa. It was destroyed by the World Federation's anti-magnetic bomb. It appears in the Pocket Mates novel. In the Cobalt Bunko edition, only the name appears. Variable Fortress, Episode 8, a giant mecha that transformed from a fortress in the Himalayan mountains. The transformed form is called Formation Z. It was destroyed with a single blow of a subspace beam. It appears in all three novels. Silver Shark, Episode 10, the subspace mecha piloted by Marin's old friend Flick. Appears in the Cobalt Bunko and Pocket Mates versions of the novel. Bimular, Episode 11, the enemy's first giant humanoid robot. Its weapon is a gun that fires rockets. Its movements are also fast. It was cut in half by a pulsar. It appears in the Pocket Mates novel. Bimroid, Episode 12, movie, a two-headed dragon-type mecha, called a BAME-type mecha, in Blue Fixer. In the TV version, it was defeated with a close-range thunder flash, but in the movie version, it escaped into subspace and its fate afterwards is unknown. Ganem, Episode 13, a giant green mecha that attacks Little Japan, firing beams from both eyes. An executive named Bram rides it and commands it. It is cut in half by a pulsar. It appears in the Pocket Mates novel. Unknown Giant Mecha, Episode 17, two giant humanoid robots, both of which fire missiles from their abdomens, are easily destroyed by Gamjard's sword, but that was merely Degraz's plan. Invisible Ray, Episode 19, a combination of transparent discs. Defeated with a subspace beam. Super Burn, Episode 21, a spaceship carrying Aphrodite. Aphrodite called it in to eliminate the Third Reich's nuclear missiles. It was not destroyed. Broiler, Episode 22, a combat mecha loaded with powerful, anti-light wave bombs, and a man-suicide weapon guided by the pilot's brainwaves. Unit 1 failed in its suicide attack and was destroyed, while Unit 2 self-destructed. Unknown Giant Mecha, Episode 23, a red mecha that appeared to destroy the Palzavant headed for Japan, and was commanded by Aphrodite himself. It was armed with 3 beam cannons. It was destroyed by Thunder Flash. Myra Jaguar, Episode 24, a total of 8 units appeared, and 4 were deployed at a time. They destroyed Baldios by trapping it in a special space that reflected energy. They fought the best of the enemy mechas, but were no match for Baldios after it had powered up. The first deployment was led by Captain Jalalo, and the second by Aphrodite. Game of Arius, Episode 26, deployed to attack the World Federation radar base. Its main weapon is an ion cannon, and is a mecha with the characteristics of an aerial artillery turret. Combat Captain Hal boarded and commanded it. Destroyed by Baldios missiles. Akudaken, Episode 27, a red humanoid robot. It is made to react to Baldios' movements and avoid all of his attacks. It is defeated with a subspace beam. It appears in the Pocket Mates version of the novel. Jorah, Episode 30, a golden mecha built for Operation Earth Baron, spraying chemicals to make grain-producing areas uncultivable. It transforms from a flying form into a humanoid robot. It fought well against Baldios, but was cut to pieces by the Pulsar's bell and defeated. Dalka, Episode 31, it was used in the operation to suction Aldtite. It transforms into a rectangular parallelepiped. Aphrodite boarded it and commanded it. Its physical form is a white sphere. It fires a light wave bomb at the Aldtite, transforming it into a black hole bomb that creates a super absorbent space within the solar system. It appears in the Pocket Mates novel. It is also called Big Octo 2 and is the second Big Octo. Artificial Sun, Episodes 32 and 33, movie version. 2 giant robots were developed and sent to the North Pole and the South Pole. They absorbed attacks and grew stronger, so even Baldios could not destroy them. After melting all the ice at both poles, they burned out. They appear in all 3 novels. 1 unaired/unproduced episodes available. Gut King, Episode 35, a mecha that was planned to appear in the unproduced Episode 35. It was supposed to tear off one of Baldios' arms. Its appearance was not designed. In Kibuncha's Space Warrior Baldios Encyclopedia, an image of Dalka was used. Gagly, Episode 37, a flying saucer-shaped mecha commanded by Negroes that was scheduled to appear in the unproduced Episode 37. It was rammed by the all-purpose submarine commanded by Herman, resulting in a mutual destruction. Staff 1. Produced by Juzo Tsubata, International Film Company. 2. Planning, Toshihiko Sato, Ashi Productions, Shigeo Tsubata, Kokusei Igasa. 3. Director, Kazuyuki Hirokawa. 4. Original story composition, Akiyoshi Sakai. 5. Character design, Osamu Kamijo. 6. Mechanical design, Gen Sato, Hajime Kamegaki. 7. Art, Tora Oere. 8. Color setting, Minoru Mukai. 9. Edited by Toshio Henmai and Shozo Yamazaki. 10. Music, Kentaro Handa. 11. Sound, Nobuhiro Komatsu. 12. Producers, Kazuo Kusano, Daiki Broadcasting, Hiroshi Kato, Ashi Productions. 13. Produced by Daiki Broadcasting, Ashi Productions, International Film Company. Theme songs and insert songs. Opening theme, Live Tomorrow, Baldios, lyrics, Yasutomi Yasugo, composition and arrangement, Handa Kentaro, singer, Ise Koichi. Ending theme, Marine, Journey of Life, lyrics, Yasutomi Yasugo, composition and arrangement, Heinda Kentaro, singer, Ise Koichi. Insert song. Stand Up. Baldios, episodes 24, 25, and 30, lyrics, Yasutomi Yasugo, composition and arrangement, Heinda Kentaro, sung by Terei Isao. Rainbow in the Starry Sky, episode 7, lyrics, Yasutomi Yasugo, composition and arrangement, Heinda Kentaro, singer, Kawashima Kazuko. Movie theme song. Just the Way You Are, lyrics and composition, Maki Sato, arrangement, Koji Suzuki, Tony, sung by Tony. Sea Wind lyrics, Masatoshi Ueda, composition, Maki Sato, arrangement, Koji Suzuki, Tony, sung by Tony. Movie insert song. Memories of Blue Dream, lyrics, Yasutomi Yasugo, composition and arrangement, Heinda Kentaro, singer, Toda Keiko. Woman's Life Song, lyrics, Yasutomi Yasugo, composition and arrangement, Heinda Kentaro, singer, Toda Keiko. Supplement. 1. When recording the LP record for the TV soundtrack, the song titles were parodies or direct copies of the titles of science fiction novels, such as Flowers for Algernon, 4, Flowers for Aphrodite, Alien Go Home, for The Martian, Marin Who Cried Love in the Center of the Universe, 4, The One Who Cried Love in the Center of the World, Subspace Fortress, and Door into Summer. Director Kazuyuki Hirokawa has stated that this is not a parody but is intended as a love letter, in other words, a kind of homage. 2. The theme songs and background music composed by Heinda were released on LP records and cassette tapes by King Records when the TV and movie versions were broadcast and released, respectively. Although they had not been released on CD for a long time, a compilation of the TV and movie versions was reissued and released by Disc Union on October 23, 2009. Broadcast time. Broadcast time on Tokyo Channel 12. Day of week broadcast time. Number of episodes broadcast. Every Monday 1845 to 1915 episodes 1 to 13. Every Monday 1900 hours to 1930 episodes 14 to 18. Every Sunday 7 to 7:30 episodes 19 to 31. Asterisk at the time of the original broadcast, episode 32 was actually broadcast as episode 31, the final episode. Broadcasting station. Project, broadcast or streaming program based on broadcast. Only broadcasting stations within the original broadcast period are listed. Broadcast times for stations other than Tokyo 12 channel are from mid-October to early November 1980, unless otherwise noted. The network is from the time of broadcast. Broadcast area broadcasting station broadcast time series remarks. Kanto region Tokyo 12 channel see above Secretariat. Hokkaido Cultural Broadcasting Saturday 7:30, 8 o'clock Fuji TV Network broadcast from July 12, 1980 to January 31, 1981. Aomori Prefecture Aomori Broadcasting Wednesday 1700 hours, 1730 Nippon Television Network, TV Asahi Network. Iwate Prefecture Iwate Broadcasting Tuesday 1700 hours, 1730 TBS affiliates currently IBC Iwate Broadcasting. Miyagi Prefecture Tohoku Broadcasting Saturday 1700 hours, 1730 TBS affiliates broadcast from July 26, 1980 to January 17, 1981. Akita Prefecture Akita Broadcasting Friday 1730, 1800 hours Nippon Television Network from July 25, 1980. Yamagata Prefecture Yamagata Television Wednesday 1700 hours, 1730 Fuji TV Network. Fukushima Prefecture Fukushima Television Tuesday 1700 hours. Next episode. 1. The preview for the next episode of the TV series begins with a scene of outer space, with the narrator saying, "Space, an endless sea of stars. What will be the fate of the Earth, and what will be Marin's fate?" And the screen goes white, emphasizing the science fiction nature of the episode as it begins with the preview for the next episode message. The movie version features a theme song by Tony, with the narration by Marine saying, "Aphrodite, you're the only one I didn't want to fight." The catchphrases, "Space Love Romance," "Space Warrior Baldios," and in addition to the science fiction nature of the TV series, the film is structured to emphasize love and battle, with the main robot Baldios not appearing in a single scene. In the preview for the 30th episode, A Barren Day on Earth, the narration says, "Prelude to Ruin," but the caption reads, "Prelude to Destruction." Opening, ending. 1. The opening of the TV series briefly shows the exploits of Marin and the BFS members, as well as the fusion scene of Baldios, but the enemies Gatler and Aphrodite do not appear. 2. The ending shows Roses in space, Marine departing into the sunset, and the BFS members sadly seeing her off. Aphrodite also appears, but because she is in plain clothes, it is unclear at first glance whether she is the same person as Aphrodite from the main story. Although it hints at the conclusion of the story, it is an alternative ending that has never been depicted in any media. Movie staff. 1. Produced by Juzo Tsubata and Toshihiko Sato. 2. Original story and script, Akiyoshi Sakai. 3. General Director, Toriyama Nagayuki. 4. Directed by Kazuyuki Hirokawa. 5. Character design, Osamu Kamijo. 6. Mechanical design, Kamegaki Hajime. 7. Costume design, Mitsuhiro Matsuda. 8. Animation director, Toyo Ashida. 9. Art director, Toru Oere. 10. Color setting, Yuri Nagai. 11. Director of photography, Norio Ogata. 12. Edited by Toshio Henmai and Shozo Yamazaki. 13. Music, Kentaro Handa. 14. Sound director, Shigeharu Shiba. 15. Planning producer, Shuichi Onodera. 16. Producers, Yoshiaki Ihara, Hiroshi Kato, Yasuo Yamea, Toei. 17. Production Cooperation, International Film Company, Ashi Productions. 18. Produced and distributed by Toei Central Film. Novel version. 3 different novelizations, 2 volumes each, were released to coincide with the movie. Sonorama Bunko, Asahi Sonorama, written by the original author, Akiyoshi Sakai. This is not a novelization of the movie version, but a novel to supplement the parts not aired on TV. The structure is based on the movie version, so most of it is episodes after Prelude to Ruin. The only difference from the TV version is the treatment of Aphrodite, which follows the movie version. Pocket Mates, Bunka Publishing Bureau, written by Ken Wakasaki. A novelization of the TV series. Unlike the Sonorama version, most of the novel is taken up of episodes before Prelude to Ruin. Therefore, in the movie version, the climax of the final battle with the subspace fortress that has returned to the 3D world, including the final showdown between Marin and Gatler, takes up only 15 pages out of the total of about 600 pages. Cobalt Bunko, Shueisha, written by Toru Kitamai, this is a novelization of the movie version. Game. Although there is no direct game adaptation of this work, several characters and robots from the game appear in the simulation RPG Super Robot Wars series. Super Robot Wars Z software exclusively for PlayStation 2. Released on September 25, 2008. Some story essences are incorporated into the game scenario, such as the reproduction of the final episode of the original as a special game over event. The casting is based on the movie version, and some voice actors, mainly those who have passed away, are used as substitutes. In addition, the interruption message also reproduces the next episode preview from the TV version, voiced by Tatsuyuki Ishimori. Super Robot Wars Z2, Hakai-hen / Saisei-hen. Software exclusively for the PlayStation Portable. Hakai-hen was released on April 14, 2011, and Saisei-hen on April 5, 2012. As it is a direct sequel to Z, it is set after the end of the original work. Super Robot Wars X Omega game app for iOS/Android. Joined in April 2018 as part of the third season. Videogram. A Blu-ray disc box, BD box, was scheduled to be released by Bandai Visual in spring 2009, but was cancelled. It was later released again as compilation. Blu-ray box selection on September 15, 2015. Event 1. Baldios Resurrection, an event to celebrate the film adaptation. 2. Baldios Night 2009, a soundtrack CD release commemorative event held at Shinjuku Loft Plus One on October 22, 2009. 3. Hisori Festival SP Baldios' Harsh Tongue Talk, held on May 10, 2015 at High Life Plaza Itabashi in Itabashi Ward, Tokyo. A sort of fan appreciation event to commemorate the 35th anniversary of the show's broadcast. This is the aforementioned three-way talk. Many related items from that time were also on display at the venue. 4. Space Warrior Baldios, Screening and Staff Talk Show Event, an event held at Cinemark Shinjuku on September 13, 2015 to commemorate the release of the Blu-ray box. Secondary use of merchandise related to the work. The ending theme of the amateur special effects film, Ikoku Sentai Dai Nippon, Rise. Dai Nippon, is a parody of the insert song, Rise. Baldios from the film. In April 2007, a Baldios toy appeared in the TV drama Sexy Voice and Robo, which aired on the Nippon Television Network, as a prop to represent the robot anime fanaticism of the main character Robo, played by Matsuyama Kenichi.